From WATE 6, this is Tennessee This Week.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Tennessee This Week. I'm Lori Tucker. So glad you're with us. You know, local primaries are drawing near, and Democrats are hoping to snag some traditionally red seats here in Knox County. There certainly is an effort to do that. Domonica Bryan is the newest chair of the Knox County Democratic Party. She joins us now to talk about her efforts to get more Democrats on the ballot, including a last-minute candidate for Knox County mayor, really switching things up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
First of all, how many Democratic candidates did you help line up for the upcoming primary? It seems like we've had several added to the list.
Yes, absolutely. So when I was sworn in, I hit the ground running. I said, hey, we got to get a candidate recruitment committee off the ground.
And this was only in December.
Yes, December 16th. Yes, I was sworn in. And I said, hey, guys, we got to figure this out because we want to challenge every single seat. And that's what our committee did, hit the ground running and put the fillers out there. We had people meeting weekly to find us candidates up and down the ballot.
How many? Do you have a number?
Oh gosh, every seat. I really can't even tell you how many candidates we have. It's just every seat except for sheriff, of course.
Yeah.
But every seat we got filled.
Do you feel like you helped to get the right candidates? You're not just trying to fill with names.
Yeah.
You're looking and vetting and trying to get the right people on the ballot.
Absolutely.
Tell me more about that.
Well, one of the things I was very intentional about with our committee is that we use the term recruitment, but you can't talk people into wanting to run for office, right?
Yeah.
Their heart has to be there. And I think one of the most important things was aligning our goals, aligning our messaging with those that we found wanted to run for office.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Which race was the hardest to get a candidate to say, okay, I'll run?
Mayor.
Okay,
Mayor.
let's talk more about Bo Hawk. He's 34 years old. Connected, knowledgeable from what we understand. Tell us more about this guy.
He is phenomenal.
Okay.
Not only does he have a lot of connections when it comes to the union, but he has a lot of community connections as well. He's young, he's exciting, he's energetic, and most importantly is that he's from a working class family. So he understands what it feels like to budget crunch. He understands what it's like to really figure out how to make ends meet at the end of the day. So he's phenomenal.
Do you think he has a shot of beating any candidates, any of the Republicans?
I do. And the
Tell us
reason
why.
I do is because I think right now in Knoxville, there's a hunger for something new. It's not politics as usual. People aren't concerned with the catchy, top story, gossipy, water cooler conversations. They want to know how they're going to survive from day to day. And that's what Bo has. He has ideas for that.
You know, if you look at Bo Hawk versus, say, a Larson J., a school board member, Betsy Henderson, or Commissioner Kim Frazier, you keep saying down to earth. Is that what's going to set him apart? Is he more down to earth than any of those three I've just mentioned?
I believe so. I think his lived experience is what sets him apart. I think him really understanding what it feels like, again, to live day to day here in Knoxville and to fight for the everyday working person. He understands it on ground level.
Again, he's only 34 years old.
Yes.
That's very, very young. How do you think his age is going to factor into the race? Are the other candidates going to try to pound on that?
I'm sure that will be a point of contention. I'm sure it'll be brought up. But I think what we have to understand is that the younger voter bloc is going to make or break a lot of elections this season. And so he can get them energized, and he has crossover appeal. I think his ties with the union, he has that experience of talking with people that are outside of his generation. So I think he'll have crossover appeal. He'll be good.
Very interesting. And, a big thing right now is housing affordability. A lot of young people, you just mentioned, rent.
Yes.
They can't afford to buy a house when 20 years ago, that same age group could.
Yes.
Is he going to talk about that and have possibly some solutions?
Absolutely. If you go to his website, that's one of the key themes that you'll see is affordability and making sure that he's addressing that. So that's one of his top priorities.
One thing we are talking about, obviously getting more Democrats on the ballot. How do you think the big picture, the national political climate, where things stand right now, things happening on a day-to-day basis, things changing on a day-to-day basis, people weighing in, some Republicans backing away right now. How do you feel this is going to play into the local elections?
Directly. I think it's going to have a direct impact. I think because even people who have generally voted Republican, I think they are at a space where they want leadership that's not only transparent, but is ethical, and that making sure that their community's voices are heard and make sure that they are set up for success. So I think there's going to be a lot of switch over this election cycle.
Well, and speaking of that, we look at different polls and depending on what they say and how many people respond and all that, the margin of error and the things that you have to weigh in. But do you feel there are more converts than people realize? And do you think that's going to show up at the polls?
I do. Take, for instance, the event that we just had recently. Initially, we thought we were going to have 115 people. It turned out to be 400 plus. And some of those people that I was able to speak with were actually Republican voters and were actually people who wanted to come out and see what the party was all about.
Tell people more about that event and
Yes.
exactly what people were saying.
Yes, absolutely. So we, it was a brainchild from one of our members, and Andrew, and he pitched it. He said, "Hey, I think this would be amazing to have an event that we showcase all of our candidates and have people be able to come out, speak to them, hear their platform issues, and really engage with them on a one-on-one level." And so we kicked it off. We partnered with a couple of folks, and then we thought, 100 people. We opened up our RSVP line. 100 people RSVP'd, and when everything was said and done, it was over 400 people. We had every candidate come out, do a 2 to 3 minute kind of stump speech, talk about their platform issues, and community partners were able to, and voters were able to go to booths each table and talk with our different candidates. So it was an amazing event.
I want to circle back to Bo Hawk. Did he come to you or did you go to him?
Our committee reached out to him, yes. He was making waves because he's the president of the Knoxville and Oak Ridge, one of the unions. And so he was already making waves and already had a good reputation in the community. And so our candidate recruitment committee reached out to him and talked with him. I sat and talked with him and got him on board.
Now that you've helped add candidates to the ballot, I have to ask you, okay, so what happens between now and Election Day?
Yes, we win.
She's confident.
We flip some seats. We give the people what they are yearning for, and we make sure that we fill that void that's missing right now in our politics for Knoxville.
And voting is so important no matter which party you vote for. You got to let your voice be heard.
Absolutely.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. All right. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We're going to bring in our panel of pundits right after this. We are back in 90 seconds. Stay with us. Welcome back to Tennessee This Week. A moment ago we heard from Knox County Democratic Party Chair Domonica Bryan. Let's bring in our panel of pundits. Joining us now, Courtney Piper, Craig Griffith, and Michael Covington. The gang is all here. Always good to see you all.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. How well positioned is the Democratic Party in these different Knox County races compared to years past?
Well, I don't think the demographics have changed that much. Inside the city of Knoxville boundaries is a strong Democratic presence. Some of the Democratic people that have run for the House of Representatives against Tim Burchett have actually carried more votes inside the city. But once you get out into the county, it's a different story entirely. Very conservative, very Republican oriented. They will have to, as a Democratic Party, see if they can break the dam out there in the county. There's a lot of new residents moving into the county, a lot of new apartment buildings being built and things like that that could change the demographics of that. But we'll have to wait and see. I think that may be a 20, 30-year project.
Oh, that long?
That long.
This is not going to turn on a dime, but people are voicing some pretty big concerns right now. So what do you think, Courtney?
We are positioned. Democrats are positioned, and that is step number one. It is a huge accomplishment to show Knox County voters in the general election that they will have a clear choice. No longer is the Republican nominee just the presumptive winner of a race. So now Knox County voters will have an actual choice to make, and they will have a decision, and they don't have to feel like, well, if I actually want to have a say in who's going to be my representative, then I need to vote in the Republican primary. We have a lot of that in Knox County where folks by default can be labeled Republicans because they always go and vote in a Republican primary because there's not always a Democratic candidate. So I am really excited about this. I'm excited about Domonica Bryan's leadership with the Knox County Democratic Party because finding candidates for all of those local races was no small feat.
Especially just being sworn in December.
Exactly.
My goodness. All right. And at the very least, there's a balance here.
Yes.
People have a balanced choice. What about you, Michael?
I think I said a couple of weeks ago that I was looking forward to meeting this candidate and hearing what his ideas were. My first opportunity to do that was going to be when the Democrats had a big gathering at Bridgewater. I'm in and out of Bridgewater once or twice a week during campaign season. I've never been to Bridgewater Place and seen a line going out into the parking lot. When I drove by Shane Jackson and he looked in my car window and smiled like, "You're here?" And then I saw Mayor India Kincannon assume her place at the end of that line. The first thought I had was, I don't belong here. I need to be somewhere else. It was a novel idea to meet Bo here. Ain't gonna happen. Not gonna stand in this line. I agree with Courtney that it is good to have balance on the ballot going into the general election. It will give folks a choice. I'm still looking forward to meeting this Bo person. I hear lots of things about him, and I'm really impressed with what Domonica has done in just a few months. She is a real go-getter. She knows what she wants, and she goes after it. So I'm pretty impressed with where the Democrats are in terms of their selection of her.
She seems to be very high energy, very focused, and extremely intelligent.
And I think it's great that there's a Republican and Democratic candidate in most every race now. You need that discussion of ideas. One person having, getting the office basically by default because there's no other opponent is a bad idea. So I'm glad that there's going to be debate, and it'll make both parties stronger. It'll make the Republican candidates stronger because they have to come up with positions that are in tune with their electorate, as well as the Democrats. So we'll have to see how that turns out.
Let's go back to Bo Hawk. I mean, everybody's talking about Bo Hawk, this 34-year-old guy that a lot of people didn't know who are not in that circle with the union representation. Is he the right candidate to challenge whoever wins the Republican primary, or is this too early and this is kind of an entree for him?
Absolutely. I mean, I think this is going to be great because of Bo Hawk's background. So he is the president of the Knoxville Oak Ridge labor union, and he is also a business representative for the Knoxville Building and Construction Trades Union. He wakes up every day thinking about working families and what can I do to make life affordable for working families and provide quality employment. That is a central issue going to be a central issue of this campaign, and he is the one person that is uniquely qualified to talk about that and what can be done and what should be done, and championing the cause of just middle America, middle Knox Countyans, and so he is going to offer that contrast and that positioning, which will result in I think, a very robust and quality campaign for Knox Countyans.
Really quickly, what about his age? 34 years old.
Who cares?
Doesn't
I ran
matter.
for county commission when I was 27, 28.
Yeah.
He's
you're
older than
Courtney
I
Piper.
was.
Yes.
He's older than I was.
I don't think it makes a difference in terms of age. It's whether you can get the job done.
Yeah.
And some people are looking for that. Some people are looking for a totally new voice in politics that's younger and can relate to a younger generation of voters. So age isn't an issue, I don't think.
And again, you did not want to stand in line. If it's just too long.
I would not stand in line for a Democratic Party event, no. That's just a waste of my time.
Michael will stand in line for a steak,
But you
but
thought
not a
about
candidate.
it. But you thought about it.
No. It was never, when I saw a line coming out, I thought, no, this is unusual. What could be going on in Bridgewater that causes a line like this? But all Democratic candidates were part of that function. So it was
Interesting.
all Democrats in Knox County. You couldn't get all the Republicans in Knox County in Bridgewater.
We haven't tried.
You wouldn't be successful.
Hey, let's talk about the Republican candidates on the ticket. Larson Jay has been in the news recently for a $250 campaign contribution he made a couple of years ago. He sent us a statement about this situation, and here's what he wrote. I appreciate the Tennessee GOP leadership and members of the executive committee acting swiftly to dismiss the petition and to validate what we all know. He goes on to say this was a frivolous effort to disenfranchise voters and take their voice away. This is the sort of thing people do when they know their candidate cannot win at the ballot box. I look forward to continuing this campaign and to serving as the next Knox County mayor. Your thoughts on how all this came about? Do you think it was much ado about nothing, almost a witch hunt, just looking to find any little thing that was?
Well, I think there's
could be
two schools of
perceived
thought
as
on
wrong.
this. First of all, dirty politics comes to mind. Let's do opponent research and find out any chinks in their armor from as back as far as we can find archives and put that out for discussion. If there were people that advocated that, they're probably a little disappointed that the issue only lasted 3 days. The complaint was made, the executive committee made their decision within 3 days that Larson J could stay on the ballot. So it's something that will probably come back up again in the campaign trail that comes along. But I think as you saw the Republicans in the executive committee, they didn't feel it was an issue that warranted taking him off the ballot. The second thought on this is that it was a desperate Hail Mary.
By whom?
By his opponents.
Both or one?
Well, both would have benefited. Yeah. So one, it appears that the people supporting Betsy Henderson were responsible for this. Mm-hmm. But, it's a issue that can come up and confront him. I think people are looking and seeing, Larson's raised a lot of money. He was already advertising during the Olympics. He's making outreaches to undecided voters, if there are many of them out in the county. They were looking, we got to do something to maybe stop this in a desperation Hail Mary. And, so there's two schools of thought on that, and we'll have to wait after the campaign to see what happened in reality.
Oh, could what you call that desperation Hail Mary come back and bite the candidates who may have been behind that?
This was a bold move to submit this petition, and Larson J's response was even bolder. So he's essentially laughing at this petition and saying, well, people do desperate things when they think they can't win. And we have talked about this since the beginning of this Republican primary. It is going to be next level Bravo television, reality TV drama, and I am all in for it. I want to watch it happen. I want to see it unfold. We've got 3 extraordinarily qualified candidates that are very strong, and they're all just going to go after each other, and I am just looking forward to seeing how this unfolds. And this was Act 1.
There you go, Michael. Before we go to break,
I'll put just a little bit of perspective on this. This has nothing to do with anything that has been discussed on this subject. This only has to do with the $1,000 that Larson J contributed to Barack Obama. My phone started to ring on Wednesday night. As soon as black people realized that his original discussion about Hillary Clinton didn't have traction, then he played the race card. He said, I gave the $1,000 to Barack Obama so that African Americans would feel really, really good about their chances to make it in this country. My phone started to ring on Wednesday night. Mr. Covington, what did he mean by that? I could not answer that question because I don't know what he meant by that. My self-esteem has not been improved by that $1,000 contribution to Barack Hussein Obama. That's not my issue. My issue is, should he be on the ballot? And he should be on the ballot. That complaint was not going to hold any water. $250, you're going to take a man off the ballot that has raised almost $1 million over a $250 contribution? Unheard of. Not going to happen. Not in Tennessee. Nowhere in the United States would that happen.
All right, let's hold that thought. Let's take a break, everyone. We will be right back. Stay with us. All right, switching gears now from local politics to the big news this week. Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally he's retiring after more than 4 decades in office. His words here from the Senate floor. Let's listen.
I've decided not to run for re-election in November, and it's partly due to my wife and my physical conditions. We both realize that our paths are kind of short, and this gives us more time to spend together. But it's very difficult to say that I will be leaving and not serving as Speaker in January.
You know, it's always tough to reach that time in your life where you need to make that decision. So the question is, what does this decision mean for his seat?
Well, it's been rumored that he wasn't going to run again for a number of months. It's a big void for East Tennessee, a big loss. Most of the leadership of the state legislature is from Middle Tennessee, and it was good to have someone from East Tennessee in the leadership position there. It helped in money coming to East Tennessee from the state government. So it's going to be quite a loss to East Tennessee. The deadline to file a petition to run for the seat is March 10th. Which is right around the corner. So it'll be a mad dash for people to pick up petitions. It'll be quite exciting to see who actually is going to run. There's a qualified state legislator from the Oak Ridge area, Scarborough, that I would assume would be interested, and maybe the mayor of Oak Ridge as well. The mayor of Anderson County, excuse me.
So, the mayor of Oak Ridge might be interested as well.
Warren Gooch.
You never know.
Warren Gooch may decide to throw his hat in the ring, but we'll see. So it's a loss for East Tennessee.
Oh, he's an institution.
Mm-hmm. It's such a big loss for East Tennessee and a loss for our state. When I started my career and when I was running for office, I remember watching Randy McNally and how he conducted business in the Senate, and then how he conducted business as the lieutenant governor. And he is a statesman. I feel like he is a breed of politician that is slowly waning from our political spectrum, and that is a big loss for our state. His knowledge base of Oak Ridge and East Tennessee and what energy means to our economic development and innovation will also be a big, big loss in Nashville. We are now in this position with East Tennessee where political power is being concentrated around Williamson County and in East Tennessee. And so my concern is who's going to maintain that lieutenant governor seat, because the Speaker of the House is from middle-ish Tennessee, the Plateau. Our governor is from Middle Tennessee. Some of our gubernatorial candidates are from Middle Tennessee. So East Tennessee is slowly ceding its political leadership to Middle Tennessee. So what does that mean for us in East Tennessee?
Yeah, good point. Michael?
Randy McNally is a very good person. He will be missed. Every time I've ever been in his presence, I always felt that he was really a people person, that he really was a public servant. He really believes in giving service to the citizens of Tennessee. He will be missed. His replacement is being formulated right now. That plan is being hatched. So there will be no loss that will be suffered as a result of his being gone, but the quality of his service will be missed.
Well, having said that, what names come to mind for his possible replacement?
What I'm hearing
mentioned a few.
is Paul Bailey from Williamson County, the epicenter of Republican politics in the state now. Johnson, who I believe is from White County. But I would like to throw my support behind Becky Massey, a very accomplished state legislator, head of the Transportation Committee. I think would make an excellent lieutenant governor. So I hope she pursues it. But she's not from Middle Tennessee. It may be a vote against her because of that. But I would advocate that she should seriously be considering this position.
What about you, Courtney?
It'd be great. It would be great for East Tennessee. I would love to see some East Tennesseans in that mix. It is just so critically important. East Tennessee has emerged as the epicenter of economic development for our state and innovation too. We are shouldering the responsibility of President Trump's American energy dominance and nuclear energy renaissance. That is bringing in tens of billions of dollars to our state. We need more representation in Nashville at a leadership level.
Michael?
Becky Massey's name has come up several times as it relates to this particular position relative to Randy McNally. There are those who think that Betsy's had enough of Nashville. I don't think she has. I think she's a natural for that role, and I hope she gets it.
Interesting. All right, we're almost out of time, but we do want to talk very quickly, if we have time, about an ordinance turning over control of the Richard Bean Juvenile Detention Facility. We are almost out of time. Judge Irwin has now passed in its first reading. Oh, goodness, we have 10 seconds left. Really quickly, are you for that?
It takes this issue out of the sheriff's race.
There
I'll
you
say
go.
that.
We'll leave it at that. Thanks for being with us. Have a good rest of your day.
The views of guests on Tennessee This Week are their own and do not represent the views of WATE 6, On Your Side, or Nexstar Media Group Incorporated.